Welcome, everyone, to the first episode of Loaded Bases, the new baseball show provided by Five Reasons Sports Network. I'm your host, Christian Pupo, along with my co-host, Zeke Milan.
What's up, guys?
And today we're going to be talking about the newly implemented 60-game MLB season, along with some opening day roster predictions for the Marlins and who we think could be crowned World Series champions. Put an asterisk next to that, to be honest.
100%.
So with 60 games, I don't think that's nearly enough to fully accept a World Series champion.
It's not, and a lot of fans are going to be really disappointed and just not happy with how the season shaped out.
Yeah, a lot of fans aren't happy right now, especially on Twitter, saying Rob Manfred should be fired for the way he handled things. But to be honest, Manfred's only doing what the owners told him to, since the owners pretty much control the commissioner. They're the ones that voted him in.
Yeah, it really is an owners league at the end. You can't really get mad at Manfred for what he's doing. It's, the players tried, the owners tried, they both tried to reason, and they just couldn't come up with reason,
Yeah, they couldn't come up with a middle ground to play earlier. Instead, they just argued for about 2 months.
Which just dragged on the season more. We could have had more than 60 games. They just had to come to an agreement.
Yeah, the owners didn't want to pay.
Which was big problem.
Yeah, they wanted the least amount of games to pay the least amount of money.
Yeah, at least to me, it's a problem because I feel like if you sign on the dotted line and I sign on the dotted line, I should be getting what I was promised.
Yeah, especially if it's a guaranteed contract. But if it's not guaranteed contract, then I see where the owners would want to pay less money.
You have these people making $250 million in their contracts. They make about $20 million a year. You take away what is it, 75% of that contract? They're making about, my math is going to be really wrong, but they're making about $7 million now.
Yeah, they're taking a big pay cut.
Yeah.
But with 60 games, MLB teams are going to need to readjust their rosters, especially with this new 60-man taxi squad, which I have no idea what it is, to be honest.
So basically, it's really just like an NFL practice squad. They practice with the team, in MLB's case, not with the team. They'll practice on their own, and they'll play scrimmages on their own in Nashville. And then let's say an injury happens, God forbid, but it does happen. Then they'll call one of those players and they'll say, hey, we need you on this team right now. They'll fly you out, and bam, you're playing.
Okay, so 60 players that just be scrimmaging against each other?
Yeah,
throughout the season.
Players, I guess you could play maybe 13 players on a team since it's just scrimmages. You could have about 4 teams, I would say.
Yeah, that could work. I see the need for a 60-man taxi squad, especially if a player on the MLB roster, God forbid, gets COVID.
Right.
Then they need to bring someone up, because if someone gets COVID, then they're on that COVID list for however long they need to recover, and that could be a long time.
Yeah, and for COVID, it's at least 2 weeks, but after those 2 weeks, they have more testing, so it could either drag, or they can come back a little earlier, or they could just come back right on time.
Yeah, and with COVID, you don't want to rush anything.
Right.
Okay, so whoever wins this World Series, that title will have an asterisk next to it, 100%.
Oh yeah, 100%. And it's not like a cheating title, but it's still less than half of a season title. So you wonder, like, what does it really mean this year?
Yeah, I don't think MLB is going to spend as much money as they normally would on making a trophy or rings. I think the players will definitely get rings, but I think the trophy will be a lot smaller than it usually is.
I agree with that.
Because the owners they they were so into saving their money, and so was MLB, that I don't think they're going to spend an extra dime to make a bigger trophy for a 60
But you know
game
what?
season.
If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure I read this, and I don't know if it was Trevor Bauer who posted it, but if the whatever team makes the playoffs, the commercial and the ads and all that, that's all the money that's going to like the league. So and he said that that's what inspires teams to tank, because even if they don't make the playoffs, they're still going to get money off of those ads and the commercials and the TV sponsors, all that. They're going to get money from it.
Interesting. And that inspires teams to tank.
Yeah, because it's not really important to win anymore. You're going to get money regardless.
And baseball is a money game now.
It is, yeah. And to me, it's always been a game of numbers, at least.
Yeah, but this past offseason, the owners really showed they don't care about anything other than making their money.
Oh yeah.
Well, it is what it is with the owners. All right. 60-man taxi squad, opening day rosters. Who do you see making the opening day roster for the Marlins?
I can see the usual: Brian Anderson, Harold Ramirez, Sandy Alcantara, Caleb Smith, Jorge Alfaro, Miguel Rojas, Garrett Cooper. And I'm going to mix in, and I'm going to say this, Monte Harrison's going to make the opening day roster.
Ooh, I agree with that.
Yes, he's definitely going to make the opening day roster.
Especially if he performs like he was doing in spring training. If he does it again in spring training 2.0, starting center fielder.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Unless Lewis Brinson somehow finds his swing again.
I want Brinson to succeed. I do. I really do. But
so do I.
If it comes at the cost of JJ Bleday coming in and taking the spot, I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't.
JJ Bleday, he was doing good too. He was hitting the ball hard in spring training.
Yeah.
I don't see why he wouldn't also possibly, maybe later on in the 60-game season. I don't see why he wouldn't.
I think they have where they're gonna start at 29 and then move to 28, 27, and then 26 man rosters. So I wouldn't mind seeing JJ Bleday at least get big league experience sitting on the bench watching for like a day or two.
Yeah, maybe some pinch hit at bats when it's time to take out the pitcher.
Right.
Speaking of pitchers, Max Meyer could possibly get called up to the big leagues after getting drafted.
I believe somewhere around the middle portion of the season, around 30, maybe 35 games.
Yeah, I could see that. Give him some more time to condition so he doesn't hurt himself.
My question is, will he be a starter or a reliever?
I think it depends on whether or not we have an injury in the starting rotation.
Right.
Because I think the rotation right now is going to be Sandy. I think it's going to be Caleb Smith, and then Yamamoto.
For sure.
And then
call me crazy, but I think Urania tops the rotation again. Or at least
I don't think he does. I think he goes back to the bullpen.
Maybe. Remember, Conley, the same issues that are happening to him are happening to Conley. And they kept putting Conley in as a starter until they finally said, okay, we're going to leave this guy as a reliever.
Oh, yeah. Conley, he has the stuff. It's that changeup. He needs to find that changeup again.
But I've been saying it for over a year. You know, Conley's a starter. In my eyes, Conley's a starter. You trade Conley, they make him a starter. I promise you he will succeed.
It's his velocity. He has more velocity in the bullpen than he does as a starter. But that also hurt his changeup because as a starter, you were throwing your changeup a lot more. You had more feel for it. When you go in the bullpen, you're only pitching a few innings a week.
Right.
And you're usually feeling for that changeup. And that's what happened. He lost feeling for the changeup. When you lose feeling for the changeup, you lose your off-speed pitch, and now hitters are only sitting on your slider and your fastball. You lost your third pitch.
Right. Yeah.
So I think he just needs to find his changeup again, find that feel, and he'll be a dominant lefty out of the pen.
I hope so, man, because I'm tired of waiting. It's been too long. It's almost been 20 years. It's been way too long, man.
A lot of losing seasons. Yep, a lot of losing seasons.
Yeah.
So back to the rotation, I think Alcantara tops it, followed by Smith, and then I think Yamamoto's 3,
Yeah.
and then Pablo. I want to see Pablo pitch again.
Yeah, Pablo. Now that I remember about Pablo, I want to say he goes 3, but just because Caleb is already at 2, I would put him at 4. Yeah.
I could see that. Yeah. Pablo's also had some injury history, so you put him in.
You want to limit his starts.
Yeah. And I also see Sixto Sanchez taking that last rotation spot.
It's tough to say unless they make him pitch a couple innings in spring training 2.0, because he wasn't going to be in the majors, at least for the first part of the season originally.
Yeah. He didn't pitch any innings in the first spring training.
Right.
At all. He didn't pitch at all.
Yeah, he was just there for the big league feel.
Yeah. And I think Sixto he'll get a few starts because there's no minor league season. And I don't think the Marlins want him only facing players within our organization constantly. So I think he'll get a few starts so he gets his work in against quality competition. And then from there, we'll see what happens in 2021.
Yeah, I completely agree.
But if the Marlins just want to take Sixto slow because he's had an elbow issue earlier, and they had him on a conditioning plan and a strengthening plan, and if that will come between his innings and the plan, then I think they'll rather use Max Meyer, who's fresh out of college. I think they'd rather use him in the fifth spot if they don't want to use Sixto.
But that's my concern, is using Max Meyer as a starter, because Max Meyer's fastball tops out at 100 miles per hour on a good day. On a bad day, it's 97. It's fast regardless. His slider, insane. I know personally, I didn't like the pick so early, or at least for the Marlins, at least, because the season ended early, in college, and there was still a couple of teams left. But, looking at him now, it's like his slider's disgusting. It tops out at 91. His fastball tops out at 100. His changeup can use some work, but that's what the big leagues are for. And I would use him out of the bullpen. I wouldn't want those batters to see the slider 3 at-bats,
Now, are you saying you want to see him out of the bullpen just to start off, or did we draft a bullpen pitcher?
I think we drafted a bullpen pitcher.
Oh, that's bold.
I think we drafted a bullpen pitcher. I'm sorry, I really do.
I don't think we did. I agree with starting him in the bullpen just to get that work in and get that feel, because he's a fresh out of college pitcher. He's gonna go from facing amateurs to facing pros. So yeah, you probably want to start him in the bullpen, maybe in low leverage situations. But right. I think we drafted a potential ace.
And I hope so. I hope so. But his speed and his movement just tells me put this guy in the bullpen. And plus, in college, he really had just one good year, which was his last year, because the year before, I believe it was like a 3.47 ERA, and he comes in this year in half a season and has a 1-something ERA.
It's progress. It's
It's
growth.
it's definitely progress, but we still needed to see a little more.
I would have liked to pick Hancock or Lacey. I did not expect to pick Myers or Meyer, but I do like the pick regardless because of his stuff and his spin rate. His spin rate's insane.
Yeah, 100%.
But I don't agree with you saying we drafted a bullpen pitcher. I think we did draft a potential ace. The only thing that concerns me is his size because he throws so hard. He's only 6 feet tall, like 6'0". And when you have that much power coming out of your arm, out of that body, that small frame, kind of like David Cohn, you're gonna have arm issues
Right.
because you don't have that support that a 6'5" or 6'4" pitcher
Absolutely.
does.
Absolutely.
That's why Sixto's. That's why we're taking it slow with Sixto because of his body and his size. Want to make sure that elbow's nice and healed before we call him back up, or before we call him up for his big league debut. So we
And
don't have a Tommy John incident.
right. Another guy I'd like to see come to the majors is Lewin Diaz. I want to see him get some reps at first base, at least first base. I don't know if this guy can play outfield, but I want to see him play first base. I want to see Cooper. I want to see more of Cooper at right, and I want to see more of Brian Anderson at third base. Because this guy played about 50 games at third base last year, and he had a top 10 defensive run saved. He's insane.
Yeah, I don't agree with Brian Anderson playing right field so much.
Yeah,
he plays it well, but he's a third baseman.
I don't think Derek Jeter agrees with Don Mattingly having Brian Anderson at right field.
I don't even think Don Mattingly agrees with him having him there either.
Yeah,
but it was a need. It was a need in right field.
And the guy has a chooch. Don't get me wrong, but he's a third baseman.
Yeah, he does have an arm. He has a really good arm.
Yeah,
that's why they put him in right field, just to gun down batters.
And he didn't disappoint.
Nope. But yeah, I want to see Lewin Diaz take reps at first. I think Cooper still takes the first baseman job, though.
Yeah, of course.
I don't think anyone's going to take that away, despite what Mattingly said about his.
But you know what? You got to remember, we do have Aguilar now. And I just, regardless of what the first base situation looks like, Cooper's going to play right field a lot this year.
I don't know. I don't think
unless is there a universal DH?
Yeah.
Okay, then definitely playing first base most of the year.
I think Cooper plays first. Aguilar, DHs. DH will be between Aguilar and Matt Joyce. Because third base will have Brian Anderson. Shortstop will have either Miggy Rowe or Jonathan VR. Second base will have Isan Diaz, who I think will have a good year with only 6
You know what? VR's going to play center field, if I'm not wrong.
They talked about it, and they had him taking reps. But I don't think that'll be a for sure shot because he's shaky in center field.
Yeah, but
there's reports that he wasn't like completely comfortable in center field, at least not yet.
You know what? It's a play around year. I say screw it. Bring up as many minor leaguers as you can and have them test the waters in the MLB.
Especially your top tier.
Yeah,
like
especially
Monty, Jazz,
Cam
Lewin, Cam Meisner. Oh, he's gonna be good.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see
bring him up. Whether it's bullpen or whether it's starting a game or two, bring them up, have them test, and then put them right back down.
Yeah, get them some experience because there's no minor league season.
Yeah, there's really nothing to fight for in this season because regardless of who wins, it's just no one's really gonna care. Like we're gonna look back 20 years from now and be like, was there even a season in 2020?
Yeah, exactly. We can't forget we got Corey Dickerson.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's gonna play a lot of left field.
Yeah, Corey Dickerson. I think our outfield's fine. Like, I don't think we're gonna need to put Cooper out there or put Brian Anderson out there because we have left field Corey Dickerson, center field either VR, Brinson, or Monty Harrison, and then right field. Um, who did I just say was going to play right field?
We have Harold Ramirez can play right field. Again, Corey Dickerson can fill that spot if he can play. He can play the whole outfield. Brinson can too. Cooper can too. Let's see. Andy can play it. We really everybody on our team is what's the word?
Versatile. They're versatile.
Yes. They're expandable. They could literally play anywhere.
Yeah. There's so many combinations you can do with that lineup.
Exactly.
Because they're not all set in stone positions because they're
right. They're not all just at one spot.
They're athletic. They can play anywhere.
Yes.
I think Mattingly's going to have a lot of fun making the lineup. I think he's going to have a lot of fun making the roster because there's just so many options he has.
Sure. I guarantee you Brian Anderson plays like second base or center field this year.
Especially with how many shifts Mattingly likes to use.
Right.
That bugged me so much. He loved the shift, and it usually bit us back.
Recently, baseball has been a righty sport. You know, the lefties are getting shut down. Just this shift, it's just getting shut down.
Yep. And every time, Mattingly, every time he put the shift on, it usually went wrong.
Of course, it's Miami. It's Miami, bro.
And when it went wrong, he still went back and used it, and it bugged me. Every time I saw the shift, I was like, "Oh boy." We had one of the highest rates in using the shift in 2019.
It was just one of those like look away moments because you know what's about to happen.
Yep. Either a lefty bunts down the third baseline, or they either just push the ball to left field and get that stand-up triple because everybody's on the right side of the field,
right.
Or they just pop it over left field wall for a homer.
Yeah. How many homers did we allow last year? I think we were top 5 in homers allowed.
Too many. We allowed too many.
Especially when Caleb was on the mound, or Renya, or Conley, or Chen. Lord Jesus.
Oh, Chen. Caleb was good the first half, but
he was, and that's why I wanted him to be an all-star because he had such a great first half. And in my eyes, he had a great first half.
Yeah, but then he hit the IL, and he was struggling to come back all the way in the second half of the season. He still had a solid year, though. It's good for him.
He did. I'm expecting Sandy to have a 2.4 ERA, and you know what? 60 games, their starts are gonna take a hit. I'm expecting him to hit at least a 2.1.
That's interesting. I think their ERAs are going to be higher.
For some people, because some people get hot at the end and they lower it at the end. But Sandy was consistent almost all year.
Yeah. I'd like to see Sandy in the Cy Young race. That'd be good.
Yeah, for sure.
I like to see all of our pitchers in the Cy Young race.
There's just some people realistically where you just can never see them in a Cy Young race.
Yep.
I want to see Stanek. I want to see Stanek or Boxberger close. I know we have Steck, but Steck should be our setup man.
Steck's also still hurt. He's still battling back.
Okay. So for sure, I want Stanek or Brad Boxberger to close games because I 100% trust Boxberger in the closer role.
I'd rather see Yimi Garcia.
I'm just not a fan. and I've said it since we signed him. I'm just not a fan of Yemi.
I know. I remember. I remember you
I
being
know
all
he's
upset
good in
about
his
it.
career, but I just don't see him having that type of success in Miami. And I know the park is bigger, but we are the Miami Marlins. And somehow the ball always flies when it's the opponent, when it's the opposing team hitting the ball.
Especially to right field because we have that short fence.
Exactly.
I think I see it's either going to be Garcia or Boxberger, like you said.
Yeah. And so the season is going to be played in like home stadiums, like literal home stadiums.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how the traveling is going to work.
That's what I'm saying. Because look, next to me, there's Disney, right? And NBA and MLS are playing at Disney. Disney has about 4 stadiums or 4 fields you can play at, and a spring training field where the Braves used to play. So that's 5 fields in total, right? You can host 10 teams, 5 games. There's another place around here called Osceola Heritage Park. Those are 4 more fields. So there you could host 4 games, 8 teams.
Yeah.
My math right? Yeah, my math is right. In total, you could host, what, 9 games?
I don't think MLB will go for that, though.
I don't know. It would cost a lot of money, but that's what they should do, because then they have the close hotels, and they could say, hey, you guys can't leave until so-and-so or whatever. And, all the families are in like LA and Miami and stuff. These guys are going to be in Central Florida. I don't know. And I don't know. That's my opinion, and that's what they should do. I hope they do it. But, at the end of the day, it's their decision.
I don't think MLB will do that because, 1, NBA got there first. 2, the hotels, like you said, that's where NBA players are going to be staying, most likely. And the risk of having one sport where the players are constantly close to each other, being in the same hotel as players in another sport who are always several feet apart, I think that'll be a lot more risky in potentially contracting COVID.
That is true. I'm just trying to vision this out.
I see what you're saying, because they're all, like, the fields and the hotels and everything's all going to be close together, and it's in Disney, so like no one can get in.
Exactly.
But it'll still be a greater risk having 2 sports staying with each other in the same vicinity, with one of the sports being pretty much a contact sport and one not being a so-called contact sport.
Right.
So I think MLB just stays away from that, and they'll just play at their fields. I don't know how traveling is going to work.
I just feel like it's more risky like that, because they're traveling from Miami to Boston to Colorado to LA to Texas. To me, it's just way more risky like that.
I don't even know if they're going to be traveling like they did before. Like, I think because, I
think for sure, if it's like from Boston to New York, for sure it's going to be like on a bus,
Oh, yeah. Why are you going to take a plane?
Yeah. Well, they kind of do that.
Well, yeah, they got the money for it, but they're not going to do it this year.
Yeah. But, the part that worries me is it's the traveling, because then you leave the airport and you're surrounded by so many people.
Yeah. Especially when there's people who refuse to wear the mask.
That, and there's people who are just going to like bombard you. They're going to be like, can I get a picture? Can I get an autograph? No matter how many security guards you have, you're going to get enclosed with somebody.
Yeah, and even if you have the security guards, those people are going to go up to the security guards, and the security guards are near you. So you're still going to be at the same risk of getting sick. So I don't know how MLB is going to work this out. Either like they have, I can't even imagine how they're going to do this. I have no idea.
Yeah, there's no way to imagine it. It's 100%. They're thinking about it themselves, and they're not telling nobody about it.
Yeah, they're thinking about it as they go.
Yeah, because if you're traveling to Baltimore, that they're gonna land at BWI Airport, and that's where they're gonna go to the hotels and the stadium and whatever. But now it all changes up. Like, you don't know what airport they're gonna go to because they don't want nobody to be around them. You don't even know when the flight is gonna land. Like, they could leave Boston and immediately head to Baltimore.
Yeah, it's really complicated right now. I haven't even seen a schedule release yet.
The opening day is gonna be the Yankees versus the Nationals.
I did see that. I haven't seen like separate teams.
Yeah, I don't think they've released it yet.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good game though.
It
Scherzer
will.
versus
It
Cole.
will.
That's gonna be a good game.
You know what I want to talk about? I want to talk about the runner on second base to start off extra innings.
Oh, I see why they did it. They do it in the World Baseball Classic.
They do it in the minor leagues too. I've been to a couple Fire Frog games where they've started with a runner on second base.
People actually like it. They actually liked it during the World Baseball Classic because I think it gives more of like what's the word? It gives you like suspense.
Suspense, and it's more challenging for a pitcher. So, like, I know that there's sometimes in extra innings where a pitcher goes out there like, I don't care about this guy. I'm going to throw 3 fastballs. Now it turns into, well, there's no outs and there's a runner on second. 2 sac flies finishes this game.
Yeah, exactly.
So now you have to be like in your zone the whole time.
And I think fans like it more because 1, the games will be shorter. 2, they get more excited. And if their team gets out of that situation, then the whole stadium erupts. So it's more exciting.
Right. Well, first we have to make sure that, fans are going to be allowed in stadiums.
Yeah, true. At home, they'll be screaming.
Yeah, I'll 100% be that person just screaming at home, top of my lungs.
It's going to be an interesting season. 100%.
It is. And I hope everything works out. I hope both teams battle it out, or not both teams, all 30 teams battle it out, and they compete, and someone wins a championship. I'm sorry, I'm not going to respect whoever wins the championship because it's only a 60-game league season.
It's the Marlins, just saying.
Even if it's the Marlins, bro, I won't even. I'll be happy as heck, bro. Like, I'll be screaming. I'll like, I can't even talk right now because I'll be excited. But at the end of the day, you just look at it like, man, it's a 60-game season.
Yeah, and if you try to talk about it with somebody, that person's just going to be like, okay, you won in a 60-game season. It's not even half.
Right. They're just going to shut it down immediately.
Yeah. It's barely like 61. Yeah, 60.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it would just be like,
plus the playoffs, it'll turn into 70, maybe 80 games, but still it's just hard to appreciate this season.
Yeah. And it's like if someone's favorite team wins, they'll just be met with criticism by other people if they try to talk about it. And it's just like it won't feel the same.
Oh yeah. Trust me, the Astros are somewhere right now just sipping their cup of coffee and laughing.
Yeah, because they won't be the only team with an asterisk next to their championship. Right. Well, either way, it's going to be a good season, and it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
Right. I just want baseball, man.
Me too. And we got it. It's coming.
It's coming.
Well, that's all the time we have today on this episode of Loaded Bases. Thank you for joining us.
For more updates on where we're going to post more content, you can follow us at Loaded Bases 5R on Twitter. Until next time, guys.